Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing 10 simple tips in order to break a weight loss plateau. I'm Carol Aguirre. I'm a vegan weight loss registered dietitian with a master's degree in nutrition. I've had my own weight loss struggles. I've been able to lose 20 pounds and maintain that for years. And now I help women just like you in order to feel empowered in their vegan choices and feel amazingly confident along this process. I offer a small group coaching program, membership, and meal plans. Okay, so let's get started. First suggestion would be is to track your food, everything that you are eating and drinking. How are you going to know what needs to be tweaked if you're not aware of what exactly you are eating? So that means use a notebook if you want, use it on your PC, use an app, use something, document what you eat, the amount of food, what time it is, and how you feel before and after. That way you can track if you're eating, if you're truly hungry, or is it something that you're doing out of habit. Number 2 would be ensure your meals are consistently balanced. So what that means is there a protein component, not just vegetables and potatoes. That provides very minimal protein. You want something at least 20 grams of protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So ensure that you have a protein component happening at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Ensure that you have a carbohydrate component. For example, maybe it's bulgur wheat, maybe it's pasta, maybe it's whole wheat pasta, whole wheat orzo, amaranth, millet, couscous, brown rice, chickpeas, beans. Those would be some examples of carbohydrates. And then add, of course, some sort of color, so maybe that's vegetables. So ensure that you are doing this on a consistent basis for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. Third suggestion would be is to ensure you are getting adequate amounts of protein at every single meal. So maybe you are having protein at meals, but maybe it's a glass of milk, and that is only providing 8 grams of protein. So suggested would be at least 20 grams of protein at breakfast, 20 grams of protein at lunch, 20 grams of protein at dinner. That would be the minimum I would suggest for every single meal in order for you to hit your weight loss or fat loss goals that you may have. So when you are jotting down and tracking your meals, you're going to be aware of how much you are actually eating because you're writing it down. Fourth suggestion would be is make sure you are consuming adequate fiber. Fiber is going to help you feel full that much longer. And also it's going to help with promoting good bacteria flora for your gut. So, which is going to help you as well along your weight loss or fat loss process. So some examples of things that have fiber would be fruits and vegetables. I think we all know that that is providing fiber. Other examples would be high fiber grains, carbs, like oatmeal, like quinoa, like couscous, like whole wheat pasta, like legume pasta, like millet, like amaranth. Those are just some examples. Like wraps, make sure there's fiber. Crackers, make sure there's fiber. Potato chips, make sure there's fiber. The more fiber you have, at least I would try to shoot for is 30 grams of fiber throughout the day. So when you are tracking your meals, you can identify how much fiber you are having for the day. Again, enough protein, enough fiber throughout the day is going to allow you to hit your goals. Would be is to ensure you are adding vegetables at every single meal, ideally. Maybe even if it's as simple as chopped cucumbers or baby carrots, baby tomatoes, cut up radishes, cut up peppers. If you're just starting out, that's a great place to start. So figuring out how you can add veggies at breakfast. Maybe it's frozen kale, frozen spinach. Add some veggies in your smoothie. Maybe it's frozen cauliflower, maybe frozen zucchini, maybe beets you could add there in your smoothie. Every single meal that you have, figure out a way on how you can up your vegetable intake. Not only is it going to provide fiber, but this is how you're getting your nutrition. And remember, you always want to add variety when it comes to all your food choices. So especially the vegetables and fruit, this is how you're getting your vitamins, your minerals, your antioxidants, your phytochemicals, all the good stuff that you get from eating plant-based. The sixth suggestion is ensure you are getting adequate sleep. What I mean by adequate, at least 7 minimum. Ideally, between 7 to 9 hours would be very ideal. However, if you are sleeping roughly between 4 to 5, 6 hours even, that is not adequate sleep that you are getting for the day. So what happens is you are slowing down your metabolism. You are shifting your hormones, meaning you are going to up your hunger hormone, meaning it's going to increase your cravings. And secondly, you are going to increase fat storage, which is not what we want. So figuring out how you can get adequate sleep. Some suggestions would be maybe it is a guided meditation. Maybe it is taking a bubble bath. Maybe it is something as simple as journaling, or maybe it's something as simple as walking just for a few minutes before heading into bed. Whatever works for you and it's going to be effective, do this on a consistent basis. That way it becomes your routine, your new habit, in order for you to get adequate sleep to help you reach your goals. The seventh suggestion would be is up your movement throughout the day. So that means your NEAT, your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That means just walking throughout the day. If you work remotely or you are in front of a computer all day, take some breaks. Even if it's just for a couple of minutes, you're upping your steps throughout the day. This is going to promote weight loss and promote upping your metabolism. So figure out how you can add more movement, not necessarily exercise where you get sweaty, but just movement throughout the day. Even if it's something as simple as getting up from your chair more often throughout the day, you can use your phone and set alarms as reminders, or put it in your work calendar as reminders to physically get away from your desk and just take a couple of steps throughout the day. The eighth suggestion would be is when it comes to activity, your movement. I think cardiovascular is great, so maybe it's briskly walking. I think that's amazing. But you also want to think about how you can incorporate resistance training. And so let's just say when you are briskly walking, you're burning maybe 500 calories, which is amazing. But you're doing resistance training, you look at your watch, your Garmin, your Apple Watch, and it only says you're burning maybe 100 calories. You're like, well, why would I want to do one over the other? You want to do both. Adding a resistance training, you may burn less calories in the moment. However, when you stop, like you're just sitting here listening to me, you're still burning calories throughout the day. And that doesn't happen when you're doing cardiovascular exercise. So keep in mind, this is going to allow you to hit your goals when you're adding a resistance training. Also, when it comes to your movement, you always want to add variety. So if you're doing exercise, oh, you hear my dog, sorry. Whatever cardiovascular that you are doing, next week doing something different. The same thing goes with the resistance training, because that is an easy way for you to plateau. You always want to spice up the workouts, the resistance training, whatever you're doing for cardiovascular. You want to spice it up, you want to add variety. This is going to help you break that plateau you may be having. My suggestion would be is manage your stress. And you're probably thinking, well, what does stress have to do with weight loss or fat loss? It has actually more than you think. So figure out what's going to be beneficial for you and effective for you in order to manage your stress. Because if you do not manage your stress, it leads to triggers for emotional eating and overeating and just eating because you're emotionally triggered, number one. And two, you are upping your stress hormone, something called cortisol. And so what cortisol does, it allows for fat storage to actually happen, especially for women in the belly area, which we don't want. So figure out what you can do in order for this to be an effective way for you to manage stress. And this is part of your routine, part of your habit. And so you're able to manage it before it becomes a problem. Stop using the scale as your only means of checking progress. You're setting yourself up for disappointment if you're just using the scale. I would suggest other ways. So that could look like some things to take into consideration when it comes to the scale is if you have your menstruation, your weight will go up. If you have maybe too much food like that's salty, too much sodium, your weight will go up. If you didn't sleep well, your weight will go up. If you didn't drink enough water the day before, your weight will go up. Maybe you had a little bit extra carbs the day before, your weight's gonna go up. So it's not a great factor. Also, it doesn't tell you about body composition, meaning I've had clients, see this picture here, so she lost 7 pounds, which is amazing, but looking at the pictures, it speaks so much louder than that. So please take that into consideration. Other ways for you to track progress could be progress pictures, could be checking your measurements, could be, do you have less cravings? Are you no longer overeating? Do you feel more energized? Do you have less bloat? Are your rings fitting better? Are your shoes, are they feeling looser? Those are just some ways for you to track progress beyond the scale. Do not just focus on the scale. Look at other ways in addition to the scale for tracking progress. Those are my 10 tips. Let's go over them again. So if there's something you would like me to talk about, let me know in the comments and I will make a video. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Until the next